So the first is what we call IM and presence. And that's simply deploying Lync for IM presence, peer-to-peer voice, peer-to-peer video, right? Internal only. And for that, all we need is the Lync Consolidated Front-End Server, or FE server. This is Lync. Everything we talked about or demonstrated or showed is all consolidated on the front-end server. This is the heart, the brains, the guts. This is Lync. So there's a bunch of different ways you can configure it with high availability through a physical load balancer. That's all determined by how much DR and high availability you actually want in your system. We can do it as a single server. We can do it as an enterprise pool. All depends on you, and it scales. A single enterprise pool can go from 1 user to 100,000 users in an individual pool, right? Not that we'd ever advocate a pool that size given geographic dispersity, but in theory we could. That's the theoretical limit now for an individual pool. So we've got that. So now that we've got our front end server, we connect that through a mediation server to our gateway. Now, do we need this server? Maybe, maybe not. Lync wants to talk SIP. That's it. That's what Lync talks, Session Initiated Protocol. We talk SIP. If you have a PRI or TDM-based PBX, then you need to connect it through a gateway to translate. Pretty simple. From there, now we've got it connected to the phone system. So I can have people start using Lync as their phone system, making calls, calling the people on their cell phones or whatever it is, because I've got that configuration set up. The next piece will become our edge services. So this is what's going to allow remote people to connect in without the need of a VPN, because VPN and voice and VPN and video don't mesh. So I generally don't want to connect the two together. I want to try and eliminate that. And the edge server is going to let us securely connect back in. We're also going to need something that does reverse proxy. A lot of you already have that for your Exchange environment, and so we can use that same device more likely than not. But we'll need something that can also run reverse proxy. This lets me federate to outside companies. It lets me federate with things like Skype now and connect with those outside services. Some other things may come in. I can do a monitoring server. Now, we represent it here as a separate server. Understand, everything you see here does not necessarily mean it's a separate physical server. I'm representing it on this chart that way, so logically you understand it. It doesn't mean you have another server. The monitoring server, as example, which monitors your quality of experience and your overall voice performance, is actually co-located on the front-end server. So it's the same server, but it's a different function that we're running on that server. We have things like persistent chat and other features we can get into if you're interested that exist. So from there, I can start rolling out UC endpoints or Lync devices. There are over 650 certified and optimized endpoints now for Lync. I happen to be talking on a Plantronics headset. I also have a Polycom phone in my office. I have a Jabra speakerphone. I have a bunch of different devices at my fingertips. Now the key here, because Lync, when you're buying your endpoints, they're from 10 different manufacturers potentially. That drives cost down. If you buy a Cisco PBX, you're buying Cisco phones. You buy an Avaya PBX, you're buying Avaya phones. They have you. You have to buy their equipment. Whereas with Lync, you can buy OpenSIP, optimized and certified devices that will connect back in. So the VVX line from Polycom or Snome or Astra, Plantronics, Jabra, they all have these devices. That competition drives down cost. The average cost of a Lync endpoint is anywhere from 50 to 75% of what a traditional endpoint costs. And it all depends on your phones versus headsets. Most companies I deal with start off with this notion that they're going to be 90% phones and 10% headsets. By the time we're done, it's 50-50. Especially the more mobile you are. The more mobile workforce you have, the more the mobile devices and the headsets make sense. A traditional phone does me very little good. I have them because this is what I specialize in, but it, to be honest, does me very little good. I'm out in the field more days than I'm in the office. So the headsets are far more important to me. Now, if I was a brick and mortar based employee, the phones would make a lot more sense.